Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Another edition of Car Chat with my friend Carlos. How you doing, Carlos?
Pretty good. How are you, Irving?
I'm doing well. We
Awesome.
have a controversial topic today.
We
We're
do.
gonna talk about the state of EVs. Many news out there of what's going on with the EV industry. I have my strong opinions. I know you have your strong opinions, and we're gonna talk about that and discuss it. But before we do that, I want to thank our sponsor, Rolls-Royce Motor Cars of Raleigh.
Rolls-Royce Motor Cars Raleigh provides the Carolinas with a pristine collection of Rolls-Royce models and unforgettable service. From viewing to paperwork and financing, their exceptional team of professionals streamlines the experience for you so that every moment here is a world-class encounter. Their friendly personnel are experts in what they do and are happy to help. If you're in the Raleigh area, visit their showroom today and find a product that defines you. If you're not located in the Raleigh area or prefer to work with them virtually, they offer a variety of remote services, including white glove delivery. They'll help you find the Rolls-Royce or other luxury car and leave you with a smile.
And we're back. All right, Carlos. You and I debate this topic probably on a daily basis, I would like to say, right?
Yep.
And then I sent you news clippings, and then you send me news clippings, and we have very strong opinions on EVs. I think it's no secret for some people that follow my channel how I feel about it, but let's try to be scientific here if we can, in terms of where we are in the state of the EV business, Tesla and everyone else competing in this space, and every car company. And where do you think we are at the moment? All the news out there are related to volumes going down in terms of production, um, manufacturers having to, offer rebates for people to buy their cars, a lot of range anxiety in the public. Where do you see it?
Well, let's take it one at a time. Where's the market at? You notice in the last couple of years a big swing where everybody was gearing up and volumes picking up, and they have picked up. Year over year, sales have gone up on EVs, and the penetration in the market for EVs has been steady in the last few years and accelerating. Okay. Unfortunately, I think a few things have gone against the EV adoption, the massive adoption that we need to see in the market still.
Right.
We pretty much have seen a significant amount of early adopters, what we call them, joining, and people that are fans of the technology, fans of the brand, fans of the what the technology brings. Okay. But last year and the year before with the changes in interest rates and the economy slowing down and inflation going on, eventually it hit the momentum of the adoption of EVs right away. And in doing so, a lot of people kind of like scale back and say, wait, do I really need to get into a car this expensive? Because they tend to be expensive.
They are.
On average, they are more expensive than the gasoline variants of what we have today. And in doing so, with a large increase in interest rates, people put a pause on that. Okay. So I think from the economy standpoint, there was a natural pause, not just on the EV, but in the growth overall for the cars. Take it even further. What we have seen, a lot of anecdotes and people and stories. As the adoption increase, you get to hear more about people and their experiences. And quite honestly, there has been a very steep increase in the infrastructure. Lots of stations have been put in, much more so than ever before. Bottom line is, one, there's still not enough. Two, they are not, at least if you count the circle outside the Tesla ecosystem, okay, the overall, I have to say, reliability of the charging stations, it has still a lot to be desired. And you can hear the stories left and right where you arrive at station, either the half of them are not functioning, even though the map says they are. They're only function halfway. They don't get the full power. There's a lot of things going on still of the infrastructure and the stations by all the private companies that are launching all these different brands of charging networks. So there's a lot of room there to be had. And third, related to the infrastructure is simplicity.
Yep.
You cannot make the charging process complex. And I think you gotta give it to the people from Tesla in their ecosystem where they grab the handle, approach it to the car recognizes that it's coming, and it's a much simpler process to go through. When you need an app to start connecting to things and maybe charge, let's say, look, make it as simple as it is today. You put your card in the little machine on the top. Okay, how much you want, doesn't matter if you want to say you want X number of minutes or fill it up, grab the handle, plug it in, and it should recognize the card. The protocol should be seamless, and it should go forward and charge what you're looking for. You want to charge it fast, or you want to charge the normal rate? It all depends what you want to charge. At that point in time, it's not very straightforward.
No,
So in that sense, it's not really helping the cause of trying to deliver the message EVs are here and for people to adopt. Range anxiety, you mentioned. It's a big one for
yes,
a lot of people.
big one. I hear a lot.
And when they go long trips, it becomes almost like a burden. It's a burden for everybody to go the extra time of not just stopping and waiting, but the planning aspect of taking you there. So this is an area where a lot of the manufacturers have an opportunity to design within their car, within their navigation system, whatever apps they're not using. You're going from point A to point B. Give me along that route. Give me a proper number of stations that are reliable, that I can go there safely and charge, and give you a better way of planning. That's one. Two, technology for charging, right? A lot of the vehicles that got launched with the 400-volt system for charging in the network. And yes, it can charge you a car nowadays like from 10% to 80% or 90%. It takes about 45 minutes on a fast charger, right? You got other companies like Lucid, that even though they have a luxury vehicle, luxury sedan, they adopted the 800-volt charging system. Okay, they design it on purpose so that we can, with the right batteries, plug it to the right network at a high voltage and charge you large amounts of energy go through that system in a very short period of time. So if you want to do a quick fill up on cars like that had a high energy system, you can get maybe 250 miles done in about 15 minutes. That's more than enough for anyone to just charge in that moment, just like you're filling up your car, and then carry on for another 2-3 hours charging, driving without having to stop. That in itself, it's not across the board in all the manufacturers.
It's a good analysis, Carlos, and I appreciate your knowledge of the industry as a automotive engineer in the industry. I can tell you I'm a psychologist, right? So we've said this is when an engineer and a psychologist walk into a bar. So I know human behavior.
Yeah.
And I know people in the US, they like instant gratification.
They do.
And they don't get that with an electric car. They go on a long trip, and the idea that they have to stop once, twice, maybe more, in order to charge, if they are lucky to find an available charger, and then sit there. It might be 45 minutes, it might be 30 minutes, but we're not used to it, right? We're used to putting gas in the tank. That
And go.
takes 5 minutes. Let's go. So I think, it depends on who's buying the vehicles. I know the people in my neighborhood, I'm surrounded by Teslas and Rivians here. And these people drive a few miles to work,
Right.
or to the airport, or to the grocery store. They come home. They always have a charger close by. So it's beautiful. I get how that works, right? But not everyone lives in suburbia, right? And have chargers available when they go to work, and then they have chargers at the work site.
Right.
For most people, that's not the case, right?
No.
So I think that's let's put it in my terms, a demographic issue, right?
Yeah.
Then there's the issue in that I hear a lot in the car club and with my friends around depreciation. Everyone worries about depreciation, and then these
Yeah.
cars are depreciating on a cliff. It's pretty dramatic the way
Yeah.
these cars depreciate. And forgetting the range because I covered that, but the other thing is availability of service. Right? It's not a car that you can get to your local mechanic,
No.
right? Or take to Pep Boys or here or there. They require you to bring it to their dealership. It's not convenient, right? So you add all of this up, and in my sense, this is losing momentum. It's losing momentum. There's great cars coming up. China is making now more electric cars than the US. So they're gonna have plenty of cars in the market. But I think that some of the big manufacturers, they put these aggressive timelines to convert their fleet into EVs like Mercedes. Even Porsche was talking about it. Now everyone is dialing back. That's what I get. Everyone's dialing back. There might be government regulations, and you know that better than me. Those might with a change in administration, those might go away too. But the way I look at it, there's a dial back. I think the movement is losing momentum, and from where I come from, we're not ready yet. And that's the shirt, and it's available on our online store. I'm gonna put the link there. I don't think we're ready yet. I'm not ready yet, but I think many other people are going back to gas power cars. And
I
I
think
think, and you tell me your opinion, but I think one company saw this coming to me, the way I look at it, and it was Toyota. And they went heavy on hybrids. And I think hybrid is at least the immediate future. I think we're going too fast in adopting something the infrastructure and people are not ready for. Back to you.
back to me. Fair. Hybrids they do offer indeed a great advantage over
Yes.
regular ICE. I know technology-wise, it gives you the benefit of a smooth transition, short-term electric propulsion, which is nice, and better fuel economy and stop and go and all the good things. They're the right transition, no doubt. And plug-in hybrids can do that
Yes.
for you as well.
Yes.
EVs, things have gone wrong for EVs from the point of view of delivering for the masses. You mentioned, demographics. I cannot discard the idea and the point that the average EV pricing, it's above the average ICE pricing. Okay.
Yes.
When you look at the data last year, I think it was the average EV transaction price was around $63,000, where the average ICE transaction was around 48,000. So you got a gap of about almost 15 grand between the two. And let's face it, it's a higher price point at the moment. And one of the things I have seen a lot of manufacturers and companies is being the raw materials. Raw materials, all the precious metals used, all the nickel and cobalts available. Prices shot through the roof on lithium, nickel, cobalts, and it affected the pricing of the vehicles. You have seen how they have moved pricing up and down in the market, driven by the changes in battery costs. When you're trying to penetrate the market with a product like this, you wanted to have a curve and transition where you either stable or you're in the path of decreasing. But if you're suddenly have limited quantities available and you know who's controlling the mass amount of refining of these metals, it's the guys across the pond in China. Makes it a little bit harder to make materials available for manufacturers. So use across the board. Doesn't matter what manufacturer you talk about, all of them will have the same pressure to get materials and keep the costs under control. When the costs go up, prices go up, people scale back. Only now certain demographics can afford that vehicle. And what you really want, penetration in the market, 60, 70% of the individuals being able to afford it, that pricing has to come down.
Right. Right.
You touched a point on the depreciation. And quite honestly, there's a lot of question marks about after I use the car 2-3 years, what is it worth?
Yes.
Battery has been used and blah 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 blah. Reality is, a lot of people are probably over predicting, over indexing the idea that the batteries will be worn more than what is expected. In reality, some of the new legislations we put in place going forward for the future, these batteries is expected for the lifetime to be, I think it was around 80 or 85% of the original full charge. So think about it. You got a vehicle 10 years in, you still have a battery that can last you that amount. Yes, over time the range diminishes, but it's not that you're going to lose half of your range over that time period. The longevity is a question mark, which then allows people to think this is not worth that much. And to be honest, depreciation is all about that, what people feel they're worth.
Yeah.
And if they feel and they're convinced in their head that that battery doesn't have a very much more useful life than what I use after 3 years, then all these vehicles for a while will have steep depreciation at the beginning. That's a tough
Right.
pill to swallow.
Well, there's a dial back, Carlos. Is
It is.
we can see it. I think that's the state of things at the moment.
Yep.
It's a space that we're gonna continue watching in our series and
There will be more discussions down the road
right,
to see
more
how things are
yes,
maneuvering.
yes, and let me tell you, there's incredible technology out there, beautiful, awesome cars that are EVs. My next door neighbor just bought a Rivian SUV and it's marvelous. And I'm gonna cover that for the channel soon.
It's no doubt.
So
They're
no
bringing a
doubt,
lot of good technology.
yeah, Lucid is doing incredible cars. I mean, you name it. I'm not criticizing that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the speed of implementation was eye-watering, and I think there's a correction happening. We'll see what happens next.
Yeah,
And,
even you witnessed the introduction of the Spectre, that
oh,
was a wonderful machine. You gotta admit it.
that's a separate car chat. We need to talk about
Absolutely. But
because
yes,
you were talking about the best of the best EV. I mean, the best EV car ever
I've seen.
created, and it's a marvel of technology and engineering. So we need to cover that, and it's something to really appreciate. But yeah, I think we're gonna continue watching
Yeah.
the space. Stay tuned to Garage
Yeah.
Bots. We're gonna do
Comment
more
below
episodes.
if you want to see
Yeah,
more
please
about
comment.
EV discussion,
Tell us how you think, and
Yeah.
all the Tesla people that wanna send me some hate mail, you just feel free to do that. But looking
No
forward.
need for it.
No, not at all. We're trying to be scientific here, remember. So anyway, Carlos, thank you for your
You're welcome.
analysis and your knowledge. And I invite everyone to subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media. All the links are here. And stay tuned for more content from GarageBots. So until then, thank you, Carlos.
You're welcome.
And thank
Catch
you,
you later.
everyone. Take care.
Bye.